Well, actually, it's a good find right there. You could almost say it's a great find. All right, so we're going to do a little metal detecting today. We are at a permission along the Potomac River, and we've been here before. This is actually a farm that's owned by my friend Bruce, and he has a bunch of acres here that go up along the river. There's sinkholes and caves and old houses and all kinds of neat stuff. I have not metal detected this nice big flat field goes on around the bend. If you look down there, that is the Potomac River. It's up a little bit now because it's, you know, winter time and it's been raining and snowing and stuff, so we're not going to get in there today, but maybe another day. Now the neat thing about this property is that there's an old house down here, just a foundation now, but it shows up on a map from like the mid 1700s, shows up on another map from the 1850s, and then is gone probably by the 1880s or so. So we're going to look around there, and most of the things you find are like 1880 or before, which is really nice. You don't have a lot of aluminum junk and stuff like that. It's been hit pretty good. I mean, we've hit it before. Bruce Metal Attacks, he's been there, but we'll check that out on the way back. There's an old well down here we're going to look at too in the field, so we'll detect around that. That's pretty cool. Stone line well. But I've never looked in the field, so I don't know. They could be loaded with Civil War stuff. Right over there, not too far, is a big battlefield. I guarantee there are soldiers all around that side over there, and maybe wanting to swim the river on the retreat. We'll find out here in a minute. Hang tight. This is the first signal right here I'm going to dig. It's actually just a big iron signal, but I want to see what it is just for the heck of it. Might be an old hoe or something like that. And just want to get a feel for this area. This would have probably been like a lot of tobacco and stuff planted down here when the plantation was first in operation, or at least up to the Civil War era probably, because even in the 1700s tobacco was the main crop in this area. We're in the Shenandoah Valley, by the way. Shenandoah Valley of what was Virginia. I think it's probably going to still be in the hole, but I haven't moved, so let's take a look at it. I did want to tell you too, Bruce was telling me back when they used to plow this, they'd find tons of arrowheads and stuff out here, so there are all kinds of camps all along here, Indian camps. So we'll keep an eye open when we're digging holes. I saw it down in there. I'm pretty sure it's a horseshoe. Yep, that's what it is. So what we have here is half of a horseshoe. You see where it broke right there. It was very worn and it broke. A lot of people in my videos anyway, they think these might be ox shoes. And ox shoes look very similar, but they actually are quite different in that they'll come down skinny like that and they'll get wide. Shoe up in that area. What I'm going to do is just kind of zigzag back across this field, checking the little rises here and there for other older homes. Lots of aluminum in here. This is probably from cans that were thrown away or got washed up here when the river was in flood, because the river would actually completely cover this field when it's super high. And these cans get out here, and then people come by with mowers like Bruce, and they hit the cans with the big mowers and it just scatters stuff everywhere. So that's what that is. Can slaw is what we call it, just a little scrap of aluminum. Those are the hay rakes down there, and we've been just zigzagging. And I'm coming up to this little rise right here. I'm starting to pick up some iron. So I went ahead, I got a kind of a bigger signal, so I went ahead and dug it. And this is an old piece of iron right here. It's probably some type of like D handle. It could have been to a leather strap, or it could have been attached to some sort of bucket. This is definitely hand forged, so this is a really old one. It's always possible that it could have been a home site here. Anytime you have a big home site, like this, the one we're going to get to, which was, you know, big, they would often have a smaller one built first that they might live in for 10 or 20 years until they built up their finances and made some money, and then they could build a bigger house. Or they could have had tenants or slaves on the property scattered about. So that might be what's going on here, but we'll give this a good look and walk up to that little knoll right there. And if we don't come up with anything, we'll just continue along the bottom. Oh, when I said can slaw too, that's kind of a play on words, like cold slaw, can slaw, just for you guys that don't detect. Yeah, there you go. Well, I found a nice piece of iron. I don't know if it's what we're looking for, but it's a nice piece of iron. I think we got a chain here. It looks like an old logging chain of some sort. Not ancient. kind of weird type of snap thing in there. I guess that's something they welded on, but yeah, so old logging chain that is broken. Yeah, that's probably what that is, if I had to guess. It looks like it's probably at least as old as me, but maybe not too much older. Okay, not getting any good squeakers in here. So this might be part of where was something going on with the logging, I don't know. But I'm not getting any good squeakers yet. So we'll probably move on from this little area, but we might come back to it if we don't have luck anywhere else. So I'm back out in the field, just found this. This is a pistol cartridge, you know, fairly modern. Looks like a 380 auto. So somebody's blasting off rounds down here. It should be in front of where I'm digging. I'm trying to end that clod, I would guess. There we go. Actually, there it is right there. This piece of brass. Looks like almost like some type of antenna. Maybe. Yeah, so this is a little piece of copper pipe. Could be from a house, could be from a tractor. Probably not an antenna, but it's about the right size, like a one of the old home antennas. I don't know if they made them out of copper or brass, but yeah, that's just a piece of copper pipe. Man, that thing was beautiful sounding. Thought I had something there. Well, I probably have about 15 cents worth of scrap. Oh boy. Working our way over toward the home site, which is up in the woods. Got a decent signal here, popped out of the ground, and I can see some green, and it's round. So I'm thinking this is going to either be a button, that's where some of the patina came off on the dirt, or a coin, maybe a colonial copper. So let's go ahead and clean her up just a little bit, and we'll see. So this is basically a fairly good sized flat button, not quite big enough to be called a dandy button, but chances are there's not going to be any design on it. That would be just a big civilian button, probably dates to you know, 1700s for sure, maybe mid 1700s even. So you can see the shank on the back, that's where the thread would go through to hold it on the jacket. It's a little bit off center, it's kind of crude looking, so that's definitely an earlier button. Oh, we're on the board, finally. I know I'm probably going to be jinxing myself getting you out for this, but I got another nice little squeaky sound. That's where I dug the button right there, and over here I got a nice little button kind of sound too. I don't think it's going to be a coin, but right in here, reading about 60 or 62. I don't think it's going to be very shallow by the way it's hitting, sounding. Should be just in front of my shovel, and that should pop up with that plug right there. Wait, there we go. See it? Oh no. Oh, there it is right there. I saw this round thing here. I thought that might be where a piece of iron was against it. But that's got to be the target right here. That looks like, oh, it's going to be bigger than a button. Might be part of a spoon. What is it? Ooh, that's pretty cool looking. All right, so this is a big old chunk of brassy copper, some type of copper alloy. Obviously, it's got some, this has been made this way. You can see how it's all cut out like that and different things. That wasn't done with a knife or anything, so I'm not sure what this would have gone to, but maybe it's a dinosaur. What are those dinosaurs? The brontosaur, maybe? Got the big hump on the back. I could be wrong about the brontosaur, but that's a good piece right there, coupled with that coin right, or that button right there, down a ways from the house. So this could be a location of the first house that they might have built here that I was telling you about. That was typical. I mean, I don't know that they did that, but that was very typical to build a smaller house first and then the bigger house, you know, in a nicer location up on the hill out of the floodplain. Well, actually, it's a good find right there. You could almost say it's a great find. That's where we had the great find right there, the brontosaurus, and another nice little signal right there, a little deeper, a little smaller. So let's go ahead and dig it out. This could be a button or something similar. All right, hopefully we'll get it in this plug right here. There it is. So I think it's another piece of the brontosaurus, if I had to guess. I would suppose that is another piece. Got a square thing in there, so that would have been like some type of square shaft would have gone there, I guess. I don't know. It's a really weird piece. I'm not sure what it is, but I imagine some type of decoration for some type of furniture. We'll put it all together when we find the rest of the pieces. Just got this piece of copper here. No idea how old that is. Just a flat piece of copper, strapping of some sort. A little squeaky thing right here. It might be part of a pocket knife. I'm not sure. I haven't picked it up yet. Let's do it together. We're getting closer to the old house now. Ooh, I don't know what that is. So we might start getting a spill from that. That looks just like a piece of stuff we've been finding. I think I said looked like a brontosaurus, which is a moronic thing to say, because it doesn't look anything like a brontosaurus. It looks exactly like a stegosaurus. I kind of figured that out as I was walking along. The stegosaurus has like these big bony plates on their back. And that almost looks like the same type of thing. The place I was digging that was like way over there. I don't know if you see that tree right there. Past these posts, this tree is like down in front of that, so it's quite a way. So it's odd that stuff scattered everywhere, but it's old. I mean, that could be it could easily be mid 1800s or earlier. Pretty sweet, huh? I have a nice little squeaker here, and I popped it out of the hole, and it's right there, and it looks brassy or coppery or something. Hopefully it's not a shotgun shell. Oh, it is a shotgun shell. Yeah, so I saw that disc. I thought we had a flat button, but it's just an old shotgun shell. You can see the primer right there. It's got a really green patina, light green patina. But yeah, that could be 100 years old, easy enough, but it's not something I really want to add to my collection. I just found this piece of wire. It's copper wire of some sort. It's hard to say how old it is, but we're almost to the end of the field, just right, the end's right there. And I want to be able to say we did the field today and cleaned it up, which we didn't. Actually, that place where we found the stegosaurus, we can go back to. I think it's probably a few more items in there. So this is kind of wild. Great big old tree right here, fell down across Bruce's little road. And the funny thing is, we were on this road just a couple days ago, riding around on this little four-wheeler thingy, looking at some sheep and looking at some sinkholes and stuff. I didn't really make a video, but if I have any good clips, I'll put them at the end of this one since we're not finding a whole lot. But yeah, that would have been scary had that come down on us. That's a live tree right here, but this is one of those, I guess this is probably an ash. And the ash trees have been completely wiped out in the last couple of years by an invasive beetle that gets into the bark and kills them. So all our ash trees, and there used to be thousands of them around here, a very common hardwood in this area, they're all dead, every one of them. Well, pretty much every one of them. There might be one alive somewhere. So I'm down at the end of the field now, and I'm getting into a lot of iron. I'm not sure exactly what it is yet. I don't know if it's fence wire or not. We're going to go down and look at the river in just a minute. I wanted to show you this. This is my latest find. This is a big old wedge. This is probably used for splitting wood, I would guess. I don't know how old it is, but it's probably older than me. Just found that right here. I'll probably just put this on a log and tell Bruce about it, so I don't have to carry it around with me. He might want to keep it. And we'll look here a little bit more, see if I can figure out what's going on with all this iron. The field kind of pinches out right here, and it comes, there's cliffs that go down to the river, so we won't go beyond that today, maybe another day, but we'll definitely look at the water here in just a minute. I want to show you the river down here. It's probably, ooh, there's a big old ducky. It's probably up about 5 feet right now, I would guess. This is beautiful silt loam. There's deposited here from floods over the last few 1,000 years. That's probably some type of giant coyote thingy. Bruce has some dogs, but they're small. They're border collies. Yeah, pretty sure they're border collies. This is really slippery. You see the water was up here not too long ago. This is where it's all been washed. There's somebody's pool right there. They marked it. I don't really see any tracks around. I'm not sure what that is. Big tracks over here. Looks like some coyotes. That's a huge freaking track right there. If that's a coyote, though, that thing's big. Yeah, goes out that way. But let's go down to the water. Yeah, you can see it's up quite high. Normally when you come down here, if you look in these trees, see the leaves on the trees right here, like clumps, that's where the water was. It was flowing through here, and the leaves got caught in the trees, so it was overhead. But yeah, normally when you come down here, there's like a rock shingle out there, like a little beach. The rocky beach is pretty nice. See how high it was here. You see that clump right there? That's probably at least 10 to 12 feet. So the river was that much higher at one time this spring. We'd be completely underwater and drowned by now. All right. I know it's drowned, but I just talk like that sometimes. I'm pretty sure I have a decent find in my hand, but I want to tell you what happened. We came out through the field here, and I went up in the woods and on my way back, because we think there's a road, old road that went along here. And I started hitting some iron up in that area. So I was thinking if there was a house here, and there's iron there, there should be a nice spill coming down the hill, because, you know, the artifacts roll downhill. Really weird signal there, and I just dug it up, and I think it might be a coin. I think it's a colonial copper, man. Look how it's really thin. If that was a U.S. minted coin, it'd be much thicker. So that's going to be some type of colonial coin, 1700s. I'm going to go ahead and let it dry off a little bit, and then we'll clean it up and take a look at it. Hopefully it'll be a little detail on there so you can see what it is. But that's a big old piece of iron right there. Yeah, it's not going to be very old. You can see it's got some numbers on it. It looks like K166 or K156 or something like that. So not terribly old. I have no idea what it would go to. I don't think it's like part of a tractor or anything. I just don't know. The large cent, or the colonial copper, came from right up in there. Not really finding anything else. I worked all the way down the hill, and I'm just getting tons of iron, little bits of iron. I'm assuming they're nails, but no other really good squeakers except for a couple of modern bullets. I just wanted to show you this because it's just kind of weird. I think I have a really good little find. Just down there is where I found the large cent, and I came up in the woods because I didn't get any good squeakers down there. A little tiny squeaker here. I've been like searching for it all through the leaves. I think that's going to be a little piece of cut silver. A little piece of Spanish silver that's been cut in half. Yeah. Looks like an M right there. If that's the case, that's a Mexico City mint. Almost all the silver we find here from like the 1700s is Spanish. Very little English silver. Quite smooth, but that's definitely what it is. 100%. Well, let's see. We got one button, one stegosaurus, well, a whole bunch of stegosaurus. One button, one copper, and one piece of cut silver. Pretty wild, isn't it? I think so. So right over there is where I found that little piece of cut silver. And over here I got a similar signal. I thought it might be something small. I was hoping it'd be a piece of cut silver, but I can actually see it from here now, so it isn't. Recently, Mike from Great Finds found half of what we call a trime, which is a little 3-cent piece from the Civil War era. And they're silver, really small coin. And he found a half of it, and like sometime later, about a few feet away, he found the other half so he could put it together. Now, I was hoping to be able to do that myself, but it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened yet anyway. This is the little signal I heard. It looks like a little brass tack. And that's what it is. So this is some sort of little brass tack. That could have gone to furniture, or it could have gone on decoration for leather. It's hard to say, really. But it had a very similar squeak, just not quite as high pitched. Good find though. I'm happy with that as well. So I'm right in that area still where I found the little piece of silver there, and this tack was right here. But I'm getting a lot of iron, so I went ahead and dug a hole to see what's going on here, and I just saw a nail come flying out over here. I wanted to look at that. That's a really good old nail right there. That's definitely hand forged. It's not a machined nail. Got an offset head, kind of weird, so that might be for like a floor or something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of nail that would be. So I'm just mostly getting little pieces of nail like this. Nice good old nail. So this could have been where the original house was, I suspect, before they built the big one up on the hill there. All right, let's keep looking around, see what more we can find. I just wanted to show you this real quick. This is some old fence wire. That's actually the old post right there. And it's growing into the tree. But when you're out digging and you start finding a bunch of little pieces of iron and you don't know if they're nails or fence wire, you can dig them up and look, of course. But fence wire will usually be in like a line. And the problem with it is it gets broken up. The old stuff is pretty brittle, so when it bends, it will actually snap in pieces. So that stuff gets scattered all over the place. So it sounds like millions of nails in there. But like I said, if you dig it up, you can tell. And if it's in a line for a long ways, that's also an indication it's not a home site. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of working my way back to the truck. We came down through the field, and I'm going to stay on this like roadway here, and I might drop down a little bit in the woods because I didn't really hit that too much on the way in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the day. Well, not quite quits, but we're going to do a wrap up right here real quick, and I'm going to hunt a little bit more on the way out. I'm not really expecting to find anything, so I figure we'll get this taken care of while we're here. All right, this is the stuff that we found. I'm going to show you, that's the good stuff. Not a lot of stuff, but a few things. Mostly junk down here. This is all like top to cans. Those are like old beer cans and stuff, and you've seen the hot rock. Got a couple hot rocks in there. That's an older D-ring. That could be like a go to a leather straps could go through there, and some more junk. Looks like a Vienna sausage tin or something. That's that piece of copper pipe. Some lids to some bottles, old Pepsi bottles or something. Got some bullets, fired cartridges, fired bullets. What was that? Of course, that's a horseshoe. All right, let's take a look at some of this stuff over here. This is the better stuff. Not a whole lot, but at least we did find a nice variety. So let's just take a quick peek at what we have here. This is the button. Only have one button. It's just plain. That will, because of the shank positioning, how thin it is and the way it's made, it's going to date to the 1700s. Same way with the old Stegosaurus dude. It could be later, I'm not sure, but that's a nice old piece there. You've seen the tack. Let's take a peek at this little piece of cut silver. It's really hard to make out exactly what it is, but you can see some of the shield there. I don't know if that's going to be an M where my thumb is or not. It kind of looks like it, but I'm not sure if it is. But it's definitely a piece of Spanish silver from Mexico, which is pretty common in this area. Yeah, if you're going to find old silver, that's what it's going to be. This is the coin. I have not cleaned it up yet. I thought we'd just kind of poke at it together. I don't know if there's going to be any design on here or not. But what we'll do is just take our thumb and we're going to scrape this dirt off. Not too hard, but not too soft. We don't want to take the patina off with the coloring of the copper itself. We can do that later with a toothbrush and water if we want to. But this, if anything, is going to be very, very faint. Profile or any writing on it is going to be very, very faint. So we want to do this first. That's going to be smooth as a baby's butt. So, yeah, there's nothing on that side. They get like that because these, would be carried for a long time in circulation. The more they're carried, the smoother they get. Pockets jangling around with other ones, and they do that for 50 or 100 years. Next thing you know, it's really smooth. And some of them, especially the counterfeit ones, they don't have real good strikes on them anyway, so the design is very poor. But yeah, there is nothing, I can't see anything on there. Might be a hint of a profile right there, maybe. But this is probably some type of Britannia coin, some type of, British Commonwealth coin, I guess. But yeah, that's it right there, man. But not bad. We got a colonial copper, a piece of Spanish silver, nice flat button, and something else. Well, it's certainly better than some other times we've been out, so we'll take it. All right, I'm going to take some pictures, and we're going to hit the road, and I'm going to go home and get something to drink because I'm very thirsty. So I hope you enjoyed your little adventure, and I appreciate you hanging around with me if you made it this far, and hope you join me on the next one.
Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets she's promised to keep, hidden in her dirt or deep in her creek. Mother Earth, she ain't saying exactly what she's saving, where it is or what it might be. Mother Earth Earth, you are my lady, my big round baby. I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She don't care if you're dying, or if you're living, or somewhere in between. Mother Earth, you are my lady, my big round baby, and I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She'll shake the coins from your pocket.